Hello, everyone. How we doing tonight? Might be a little quiet, telling you guys in advance. A little sick coming into the week right now. Can you guys hear me and can you see my screen? Just a quick confirmation here. Awesome. Well, we'll get right into it. We have CPI week coming into this week, and it is the last week that I expect to see some clean price action before the end of the year. We have contract change coming not this week, but the week after. So definitely going to be a lot of, not necessarily consolidation, but a lot of very non-justifiable movement from a regular perspective. But right now, what are we doing, right? We're trading at all-time highs. So in case you were expecting something different, I am here to tell you that it is the same as we usually attend to these situations. We are bullish until proven otherwise. So I'm going to be referring to recent price action, right, as we move on towards the week, more importantly, right, towards CPI and PPI, which are Wednesday and Thursday this week, later on in the week. And before then, I'm going to be looking to trade half risk, looking at intraday profiles. I'm looking at important levels like previous week high, previous week low, which we're pretty much trading at almost on NASDAQ already. Previous day high, previous day low on any given day. Going to be framing retracements, but not based on the daily range. So I don't anticipate a retracement into our current expansion leg, right? But I will anticipate short-term retracements into this order block, perhaps even into this fair value gap, taking out this liquidity lower right here, forming some sort of SMT with ES. This is what I'm going to be looking for more precisely, right? We look for retracements, but since we are extremely bullish, being at all-time highs once again, I'm going to look for short-term retracements, not necessarily with the need to return to a discount of our bigger ranges, right? I don't need price to return here. If we are retracing, I'm looking at every single inefficiency like it could be the last stop. And looking for continuation trades to the upside. More importantly, I'm going to be using the same logic that we have in the bias analysis of the Rice Statistics app. I'm going to be looking at previous day high and previous day low, and the relation of the current candle, while the previous candle and the one just before that, looking at how we interact with price. So for example, right here, we can see we took out both sides of the range, but we closed above the high, which means that on the next day, my bias will be the high, right? All the logic is all explained in the app. So if you are a user, you'll be able to go through it. But this is what I'm going to be utilizing mostly this week, because when we are at all-time highs, I don't have clear objectives. Now, of course, I can go ahead and look to use standard deviations, for example. What's up, bottom frag? I see that you're trading, so hopefully this is going well as well. But as I was saying, right, I can use standard deviations and I can use breaker block standard deviations of a recent price move, perhaps go even deeper and just use the first breaker that was formed from this upside move and have some higher probability objectives in these ranges. But this is not interesting to me because I'm not interested in catching the last part of the daily candle. I want to catch a good percentage of that move. So if I'm trying to catch this candle right here, I'm not going to be looking at the higher time frame levels because there are none. And yes, standard deviations are a useful tool, but for me, they are never a reason to have an objective somewhere. They are confluence, right? It's just like SMT. SMT is never a reason for me to take a trade. It is confluence to my trade idea. It confirms my idea. So looking at this, as I said, going to be referring to recent price action. We'll also go deeper and use intraday session liquidity, right? Time-based liquidity. I'm going to look at session highs and lows, look for a framework to start there. But if I'm looking for a retracement, my first objective, right, if we're talking purely levels, will be this order block, which of course, as I stated, is not in discount, right? But that's not interesting to me, as I said. So bullish order block on the daily. These are the levels I plot and they stay in throughout the whole week for me. I'm going to be looking at this. I'm going to be looking at the mean threshold of that specific low guy. So let me just mark it out. Let's look right here and let's say push order block main threshold on the daily. I like plotting my levels in advance like this because then I start trading. I'm coming in tomorrow morning, for example, going to be coming into New York, and I'm already going to have my levels there. Then, of course, which we already traded above previous week high, I still want to see that level. Probably going to see some reclaims of that level. We also see new week opening gap. On my trading template, I do have an indicator that plots that for me. I don't remember which one I use, but 2 degrees has an indicator for new week opening gap, I believe, and I would highly recommend using that. So looking at this, do I think that this gap will be a big draw? Well, no, right? Look at that gap. That's a small gap, right? 13.5 handles. That's not something that is of interest to me precisely this week. The levels I'm going to be looking at is a retracement to this order block. And if we dive lower, right? Because I just said we're bullish until proven otherwise. Well, if we dive below this order block and take out this liquidity, does this mean that I'm all of a sudden bearish? No, not necessarily, right? What I'm going to be looking for is how we close through this level. But it seems simple. But if we close through it, and let's just say I have something we can see, if we close through it, right, imagine this as a candle. If we close through it here, I'm going to be looking for continuation lower, and that's when I'm going to use my bigger range with my premium and discount levels. And as you can see, there's one in efficiency that jumps in your face right away. Let's put that a more appeasing color. So if we close below the previous, I was going to say previous week's low, but Friday's low, then I'm going to expect a movement lower. Right? If we think in terms of monthly 5/3, right? Let me just bring that monthly open right here. We have our monthly opening price. Let's just say monthly open. We have our monthly opening price right here. Do you see an important low formed? Not really, right? Yes, you have an open low, right? You have a wick formed, but this is not enough for me to consider anything. Now, going into December, it is to be expected. What do we do in December? We rally, right? End of the year rally. We just expand aggressively to the upside. That's what we've been doing. That's what seasonality tells us we're doing. That's what statistics tells us we're doing. So how do you adjust to conditions like this? Well, you keep longing. If it tells me we're going lower, I'll expect quite a big move, possibly going even more aggressively lower. But to be honest here, I really don't expect any sort of aggressive downwards delivery, perhaps in the short term, but as I said, not going into next week and so forth, because we are bullish. It is the end of the year. We are going to finish our rally, or we are going to consolidate to a close. That's what I'm looking for more precisely. So definitely just a quick outlook here. There isn't much to say when you're at all-time highs. And I believe that that's when traders are the most alike. I'm either utilizing lower time frame frameworks, right? So based on recent levels, so recent liquidity and whatnot, or I'm just taking longs because we're at all-time highs. So we're just going to be bullish until we're not. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've gathered, I guess, from my experience knowing this many traders. Do you guys have any questions? I know, as I said, pretty bare bones as a weekly outlook, but definitely going to be talking a lot more about the statistics I utilized this week. And in case you did not see the announcement, I'm going to be, there won't be a Wednesday price action review here in Rise. It will still be recorded, and it will be hosted in the 2 Degrees Discord, which is linked in the announcement. So if you want to see me there, probably have a little bit of live trading at that point as well, trading the PM session on NASDAQ, well, head to the 2 Degrees Discord, join me, I'll be in there on Wednesday. On that note, guys, as I said, quick outlook. I wish you all the best of luck if you're trading before CPI. For myself, I'm going to be looking for some half-risk setups before then. Have a good night, good luck trading this week, and we'll speak more on Thursday. Bye, guys.